and gentlemen, in an attempt of my epic frugality on my minimalistic financial independence retire early journey, there's a mouthful. I am scrummaging through my house to try and find things I can sell so I don't have to rely on the government to continue compounding my six-figure dividend stock portfolio. So let's get out there, see what we can find, and jump right in with
Drop it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the boudoir. That is very awkward and uncomfortable, but nonetheless, I am trying to sell my bedroom TV. We're giving away, not giving it away, but nonetheless, guys, I got this TV going into the new year because my old TV capoodled, and I primarily only use this for my desktop, which also capoodled right around the same time I got this thing. So I ended up just buying a laptop instead, not realizing how much I'm never using this thing. In fact, the plastic is still on it, and I can count on one hand how many times I've turned this sucker on. It's gotten to the point where I've even just unplugged the power source because I just don't see what the point of feeding power to it is if you're not using it. So at the end of the day, I paid somewhere between $200 and $300. I'm going to figure out what a good listing price for this is, and I'll get back to you guys when I figure that out. But nonetheless, why is this sitting here when it can be just spitting out those beautiful dividends in my account? Next on the list of things to sell, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably one of the more interesting pieces, and I honestly think the box is one of the nicest parts of this because this is a really, really old box. It comes from a company called Ross Stores in a town that actually isn't too far from where I live. But the funniest thing about this box, I'm going to do this very carefully so I don't damage anything, but I just flip it onto its side. I want to show you the back because somewhere on here, it actually, let me flip this around, it actually says patent pending. And I think it's funny because this is a product that largely does not exist or is popularly used. And let me show you what I mean by this. If we pop this open, and this is an original box, by the way, which is just absolutely incredible because this is from a store in the early 19th century, and this is actually an authentic top hat, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm a little concerned in case it was treated with mercury because this definitely fits kind of the era, I'm gonna say. But if we flip it over, let me show you kind of the cool kind of features of the inside of this hat. And inside here, guys, we can kind of see this nice little bow, and somebody actually initialed it. It'd be really neat to see who owned this, considering the person probably still lives relatively close to where I am. And we can see some logos up in here. Maybe if I can get that to focus to give you guys a better shot. I have no idea what this thing is worth, so if you guys have any idea, I'd love to hear about it, and I'm gonna end up having to post this after I do some further research. But just what an incredible piece with original box, obviously a tattered top hat, but from the you know, the generation this is from, I'm still gonna say it's in fairly incredible shape. I'd have to make sure it's not treated with it. I don't think it is, but it still has that shine to it, man. It's got that shine to it, which worries me. Now I'm gonna have to wash my hands in case I got mercury poisoning or something, because I'm sure you guys might know they used to treat these top hats with mercury back in the day until it started, you know, killing people. But I'm gonna put this away very carefully, and I'm gonna have to repackage it in a way that doesn't damage this box. But yeah, something neat to throw on the list of stuff to sell. For this next item, we got to go out to the shed. And no, we're not selling my car, though I should put it on the list and see if I can scale it down to something that might be a little bit cheaper. But let me show you something that is just as different and interesting. So check this thing out. In here used to be an illusion to make motorcycles appear called Motomation. Back in the days when I was spending stupid money on my magic shows, this was something that I had to get. Now, I've kind of repurposed the illusion that used to exist in this wonderful box, but at the end of the day, it's just empty, and this whole thing cost me $1,200. ATA casing is not cheap, and it's very repurposable, which is really nice. Now, I do have another thing in this box. I wish I could get it out, but it seems like more of a headache than it's worth doing at the moment. But I have a landing mat for when I used to kind of perform stunts, so I had something to fall onto, and it's about a 4 by 8 foot long landing mat that actually doesn't even take up the whole space of this. But it's gonna be neat to see if we can find somebody interested that needs to either ship something or maybe want some cheap ATA case to repurpose. Final things on our list of things I want to get rid of here, guys, is my little keepsake box. And let me open this up to show you guys what's inside here. It's kind of hard with one hand. Let's see if we can grind that open. open. Now in here, I have a few silver coins, which is primarily what I want to get rid of, but let me show you what's in here first of all. Let me get that out of the way. So what I have here, this is probably the coolest thing in the box, in my opinion, a little bit of a nostalgic step back in time. These were the first tickets I ever made when I started trying to become a magician. I must have been 16 or 17 years old when I did this show, and I wish I put a year on it, but the show is November 13th at 7 p.m., and man, does this thing ever take me back. What a fascinating, nostalgic step back in time. But nonetheless, let me get rid of those out of the way. What I'm really trying to get rid of, because I'm not going to be trying to sell those tickets, is some of the stuff that I kept because I kind of got an emotional attachment to it. And at this point, being more of a minimalist, I want to get rid of pretty much all my worldly possessions. And these things have just been sitting here, probably building up some pretty decent value, because this is a collector's coin and it's fairly apocalyptic, which I think kind of suits the time. And you can check this out. It has kind of like the biohazard symbol on it, and the queen that's kind of a zombified queen, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And it'd be neat to see what this is worth today. It's a 2017. So it's had some time to accumulate some of that collective value. So we'll see. I have to look it up. I have no idea what this thing is worth. Silver, the spot price is down quite a bit, so probably not the best time. And then in here, if I can get this bag open with one hand, let's see if we can dump what's in here out. And this is another nostalgic piece I might have a hard time parting ways with, because this is the first silver coin I ever got, and it was something my mom bought me, which pretty much started me down this whole financial independence, retire early journey. So I've held on to this one just for the keepsake value of it, or the memory value of it. And who knows, maybe I'll keep this one and I won't sell it. But at the end of the day, I would kind of have the same feeling toward it if it was in my bank account, spitting out, them juicy dividends week after week. Not trying to be crude here. I know it's something my mom bought, but at the end of the day, guys, making money is better than money sitting in a drawer that I might forget about. And then I also have one more little Canadian, I think maple leaf in here. Not sure what the value on that guy is. And then finally, this thing has absolutely no value, because this is what, I'm gonna show you something funny. Because this is a golden doubloon, which, I mean, sounds like it's worth a lot. And if it was an original piece, it'd probably be worth thousands of dollars. But what ended up happening, my mom found this when she was a kid, and it turns out cereal companies thought it would be funny to make fake golden doubloon coins to put into cereal boxes. And that is one of these coins, because man, if this was gold, it'd be way a heck of a lot more. And being from the 17th century there, guys, this thing would be worth an arm and a leg. This was the most disappointing find I think we've ever had in this household, because man, this thing looks like it should be worth an arm and a leg. It's got all the feelings of an old coin to it, but it's from a cereal box from probably about 50 or odd years ago or so when my parents were kids. But nonetheless, interesting stuff, and I gotta figure out a price for this as well. Well, welcome back. Passive income investors alike. So we have all this stuff, and I actually have some more, but this is going to be kind of a continuation video, as I will touch base on Sunday when I kind of get all of this stuff posted and try and figure out what it's actually worth, because right now the ATA case is probably having the highest value, but it's really a niche thing. It's hard to find people that have a truck or something to even transport something of that size. But at the end of the day, I know that's worth over $1,000, and even if I could get 500 for it, I'm really not complaining for something I have never used before. Well, as of recent nonetheless, and I'm talking about recent over the last maybe 5-6 years plus. Now the TV I think will be the easiest to get rid of. It's brand new. I mean, if I knock it down to maybe 200 and just see what I get offered, if someone throws me 175 maybe, I'll take it. Do you need a TV? Everybody needs a cheap TV, and it's not a bad one. It's pretty much brand new. We got the top hat. This is probably the more interesting side of the stuff that I'm selling, because this has some really interesting, past historical value to it. Trying to find somebody that's going to appreciate that value is going to be extremely challenging. So that'll be another fun one to try and figure out the valuation on. And if you guys have any information, let me know in that comments section below, so I don't end up throwing something up for a couple $100 that's actually worth a couple thousand, though I think that might be a stretch for this retro top hat. And then finally, my silver, it's going to be the easiest to sell. I could take it to a coin shop where they'll give me spot, but spot price absolutely sucks right now. So I need to find a collector out there that is missing one of these coins, because that apocalyptic, that biohazard coin I have is a limited print, a part of this awesome collection. And I wish I kind of, bought the other ones as well and put it together in a nice piece. So we'll figure out what that's worth and go from there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be selling the one that my mom gave me, because that was literally the first investment that started me down this entire financial independent, journey here, guys. So slap a like for my mom pushing me down that that side of this path, because if it wasn't for her, there wouldn't be any of these videos. So long as I can get over $1,000 and I can invest it at my average rate of return, well, which is usually between 10 and 15%, but let's give it a reasonable value of, let's say, maybe 8%. That means I can be making an extra $80 a year in perpetuity for the rest of my life. Doesn't sound like a lot, but at the end of the day, that's a pretty nice meal to go out and have with a girlfriend, or heck, maybe even a bunch of coffee. That's actually a lot of coffee. So at the end of the day, guys, I'm not trying to get caught up in my large numbers, because the problem is when you build a six-figure portfolio like I have, you stop caring about the little numbers. But at the end of the day, guys, it's these little bits that add up into these massive amounts of just beautiful financial freedom kind of numbers. And I'd love to know, again, anything you guys think in that comment section below. I thought this was a bit of a different and entertaining video for you. So slap that like, stay cool, stay awesome, and I'll catch you tomorrow.